Good morning. We'll just give a few seconds to clear the waiting room. Good morning. This is the voting meeting before the licensing board for the city of Boston. Today is Thursday, April 7th, 2022. While the public is encouraged to attend, there will be no additional public testimony accepted today. We'll begin with the license premise inspection hearing, which occurred on Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Item 1, Metro Dining Inc., located at 32 to 34 Harvard Ave in Alston. Date of the incident, December 20th, 2021. Assault and battery, employee on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
Thanks, Danny. I think we were waiting for the licensee to submit their own internal incident report and their video, which we have not received to date. So I would vote to defer our final vote on this until we receive that information. And we should receive that before our next voting meeting. Otherwise, I would move to vote based on the testimony and the police reports on Tuesday.
I agree.
I agree as well. Thank you.
Great. Deferred until next voting meeting. Item number 2, 425 Broadway LLC, located at 425 West Broadway in South Boston. Date of the incident, December 24th, 2021. Assault and battery, patron on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
The testimony was that the fight happened outside the premise and on the street. The management was helpful in breaking up the fight. They called the police and they were cooperative. I see no violation.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item number 3, Arguedas Corporation doing business as Bohemios, located at 30 Bennington Street in East Boston. Date of the incident, December 25th, 2021. Overserved patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 69.
Were we waiting for video on this one?
We had
No.
asked for a video on this one, and they claimed they did not know whether or not they still had that video retained.
Okay. The violation, they were written up for over service, and the testimony was that they were only in there for 30 minutes without the video to show the service. We either have to defer it or
Yeah, we could do the same thing for a week. Yeah.
if they have the video. If they don't, we can vote on it.
Sounds good.
Great. We can defer to clarify whether they have video, and if not, vote at our next voting meeting.
Yes.
Item number 4, Building Association Old Dorchester Post number 65, doing business as American Legion, located at 500 Gallivan Boulevard in Dorchester. Date of the incident, December 27th, 2021. Assault and battery, patron on patron in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 13A.
The testimony was that this assault happened in an instant. It was unforeseeable. The people weren't known to each other. I see no violation.
I agree.
Yep, I didn't think we had enough.
Item number 5, Leinster Group Inc., doing business as Scholars, located at 25 School Street. Date of the incident, January 1st, 2022. Patron on patron assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, bottle, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Chapter 265, Section 15A, and failure to disperse in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64.
I don't think this was foreseeable. The staff tried to break up the fight immediately. I see no violation.
Yeah, I don't see a violation for either.
Yep, I agree.
Item number 6, Gainsborough Hospitality Inc., doing business as Two Saints Tavern Dos Diablos, located at 52 Gainsborough Street. Date of the incident, February 3rd, 2022. Overcrowding, 351, found on mechanical count. House count 273, capacity 286, in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Boards Rule 1.03J, 1.06A, and F.
I see a violation.
I
I
do.
did as well.
Danny, is there any history of overcrowding?
There is no history of overcrowding, no recent history of overcrowding at this location.
So my vote is to issue a written warning to the licensee.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Item number 7, BVP LLC, doing business as The Point, located at 147 Hanover Street. Date of the incident, February 4th, 2022. Persons under 21 in possession of alcohol on premise in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34A, 34C, and 6464A.
I see a violation. They put measures in place to prevent this from happening in the future, but I do see a violation in this instance.
I do too.
I did as well.
And they have no recent history of this, so my vote would be for a written warning to the licensee.
I agree.
Violation and a written warning. Item number 8, Stage Karaoke LLC, doing business located at 138 Brighton Ave in Alston. Date of the incident, February 5th, 2022. Premise conducting bottle service without board's permission in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64.
I see a violation. They've since applied for bottle service, but I still see a violation.
I agree.
My vote would be for a written warning.
Yes.
Sounds good.
And item number 9, Causeway Union LLC, doing business as Sons of Boston, located at 17 Union Street. Date of the incident, March 19th, 2022. Assault and battery, employee on patron with deadly weapon in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 4, and Chapter 265, Section 22. Armed security without prior board approval in violation of Board's Rule 1.07J. Failure to supervise conduct of a licensed establishment in violation of Board's Rule 1.09A. Permitting a disturbance resulting in the licensed premise becoming a focal point for police attention in violation of Board's Rule 1.09E. Employee made bodily contact with a patron in violation of Board's Rule 1.14A. And failure to call police in violation of Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 64, and Board's Rule 1.14B.
Thanks, Danny. I see multiple violations by Sons of Boston, their management team, and their employees. We have received extended and extensive video from the licensee yesterday. The entire security operation from beginning to end was a failure. The failure to have a security plan, the absence of any meaningful training plan in place on March 19th, and the lack of management led to serious public safety issues. And now Daniel Martinez is dead. I believe his death was foreseeable and preventable. There are rogue employees, and then there is the breakdown of management and security. The breakdown of management has been made clear to the board over the last several months. Sons of Boston has shown a pattern of negligent hiring and retention, and La Rama is just one of many examples. This pattern was established before us in December. Sons of Boston appeared before the board for an incident regarding a bouncer assaulting another bouncer, threatening patrons, and threatening the police. At that time, management told the board this was just a rogue employee and he was fired. The board has received other complaints about 2 security staff placing a patron in a chokehold and kicking him out of the bar. Yet following notice of these incidents from the board, Sons of Boston did not implement the training required to prevent a death at the hands of their employee. In my role as executive director of the entertainment division, I requested a security plan when they first appeared before and applied for an entertainment license. After the tragic events of March 19th, I still had not received any such plan. When they finally submitted one, the draft they submitted did not even include the word training. This, combined with previous reports of assault at the hands of their employees, signals to me that the problem is management with no meaningful training protocol in place, with inadequate hiring procedures, and with seemingly no control over their own staff. This complete absence of a security plan or any real training on patron interaction and de-escalation contributed to Daniel Martinez's death. It is a requirement of the city of Boston that any premise licensed as a nightclub or with non-live entertainment permitted after midnight require all security personnel to file an authorization form, giving their employer the ability to conduct a background investigation. This is written into the rules and regulations. Mr. Kaczynski, manager of record for Sons of Boston, testified under oath on Tuesday that Mr. La Rama never signed any such authorization, a clear violation of city policy and of the establishment's requirements as a licensee. Sons of Boston's lax attitude towards training their security staff doesn't end at their failure to conduct background checks. Video footage shows an employee of Sons of Boston replacing Mr. La Rama and Mr. Russell at the door. He is working the door by himself on this busy weekend after the stabbing incident took place. On Tuesday, under oath, Mr. Kaczynski testified that this man was a one-day hire contracted to help out for the busy weekend. Even though Mr. Kaczynski earlier testified that it is the policy of Sons of Boston to always have 2 doormen at all times and that all security must undergo 2 weeks of training before working a shift unsupervised. He had someone working at the door by himself on his very first day at Sons of Boston after 2 of his other doormen left their posts. Mr. Kaczynski also testified that never at any point during the events of March 19th did anyone from Sons of Boston call the police, even after Mr. Larama disappeared from the premises. This is a stunning lapse in judgment and a breach of their duty as an operator. Not only were the police not called, but nobody did anything to detain Mr. Larama. Video footage provided by Sons of Boston shows Mr. Larama walking freely around the establishment, talking to several employees, including Mr. Kaczynski. And at another point, we see a female employee bringing him a change of clothes in the basement before he ultimately leaves out the back door. The board's primary goal is to ensure the safety and security of patrons at all of our licensed premises. On March 19th, either Sons of Boston and its employees had absolutely no idea what was happening directly outside involving its own security staff, or knew what had happened and chose to do nothing in response. This is an operator that is either unable or unwilling to put proper measures in place to provide the duty of care they owe their patrons and to the public. I don't believe Sons of Boston can adequately protect the public within their licensed premise, and I do not believe they are operating a law-abiding business. I believe it's unsafe for them to continue to operate. Someone died directly at the hands of their staff. Based on their negligent hiring practices, their utter lack of proper training, and their recent prior reports of violent staff, it should have been foreseeable that an event like this could have happened. The lack of a proper response, their failure to detain Mr. Larama or call the police, and video footage that appears to show other staff helping Mr. Larama change his clothes and leave is a serious breach of their required duty of care. I vote to suspend this license indefinitely.
I absolutely agree. I think it was a series of abject failures, either intentionally or through negligence, gross negligence. This whole incident could have been prevented. Someone could have intervened. Someone could have reported to management. Someone could have called the police. It was foreseeable, and I agree with you completely.
I completely agree. The failure to call the police, I noted personally that it should have happened. Mr. Russell should have called the police as soon as he intervened in the physical altercation. So right then and there, we had that violation. I believe he had multiple other opportunities to engage in calling the police, and he didn't, no one else did. I agree that Mr. Larama's hiring was the first fatal flaw. It's the natural and proximate cause of this failure that led to Mr. Martinez's death. Their failure to look into Mr. Larama's character and fitness, not only by a formal background check, but they couldn't even speak to an internet search, references checked, established personal relationships. I think that their explanation of what caused them to see him fit to be their security was completely unreasonable. Also, I second he shouldn't have been alone. No person should have been alone. He especially shouldn't have been alone. And we also have a direct and proximate cause here because he obviously got into a verbal argument that could have been stopped by another employee who would have been there to witness it. He fainted at the victim. That would have been another opportunity for someone else to step in and stop it. So the fact that he was there alone was directly a cause that allowed this to go on. The previous incident that the chair spoke of should have been a wake-up call. I think we expected it to be a wake-up call. The way Sons of Boston spoke in that hearing, I thought that they were telling us that it was a wake-up call for them, but I did not find Mr. Kaczynski's explanation of trainings to be credible on this point, and I asked for documentation proving that trainings were held in response to that incident, and I don't believe that they happened. The failure to supervise by management was evidenced on this night. If you've watched, we watched the conduct of the line. ID checks appeared to be cursory. It was very fast and hectic for almost no reason because the line was often stopping and no one was doing anything where they could have been carefully checking IDs. The Staffing issues should have been handled on that weekend, especially considering it's a known, very busy weekend. I think we're all in agreement that it comes as no surprise that this is one of the busiest times in the city of Boston for bars and restaurants like this. Mr. Kaczynski testified that they were having staffing issues. The response to that should have been slowed down and scaled back operations, not putting management behind the bar where they cannot hear or respond to reports of problems. So for all the reasons the chair noted and these, I agree wholeheartedly with the suggestion. Fine. Violations on all counts. Thank you.
Thank you. So the vote is violations on all counts and indefinite suspension. Is that what I've heard?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Noted. And personally, just thank you to all the commissioners for your diligence. I know a lot has been thrown at you this week, so thank you. We'll move on to the transactional hearing, which occurred yesterday on Wednesday, April 6th, 2022. Item number 1, Cafe Dark LLC, doing business as Cafe Dark, located at 40 Beach Street, has applied for a common victular license to be exercised on the above. Manager Kathy Fan, hours of operation 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have this morning heard from the Office of Neighborhood Services, who confirmed that the applicant did meet with the Chinatown Residents Association last night and received no objection of note.
Thanks, Danny. I vote to approve this application.
As do I agree.
Agree as well.
Item number 2, Burrito Boys Inc., doing business as Baba Coos Burritos, located at 89 Brighton Ave in Alston, has applied for a common victular license to be exercised on the above. Manager Christopher DeAndrea, hours of operation 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I vote to approve this application.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item number 3, the Little Cocoa Bean Company LLC, doing business as Little Cocoa Bean Company, located at 114 South Street, has applied for a common victular license to be exercised on the above. Manager Tracy Skelly, hours of operation 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
I vote to approve this app. Oh, this is the one in JP. Sorry, I was on the wrong page. Yes, I vote to approve this application.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item number 4, Amsterdam and Broadway's Best LLC, doing business as Amsterdam and Broadway's Best Pizza, located at 483 East Broadway in South Boston. Holder for common victular has petitioned to amend the closing hour to Sunday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. We have confirmed that they have not yet finished their community process, and we have put them in touch with the Office of Neighborhood Services to do so.
So I vote to defer then.
Sure.
I agree.
Great. We will defer this to continue their community process. Item number 5, Perros Paisas Inc., doing business as Perros Paisas, located at 350 Bennington Street in East Boston, has petitioned to amend the closing hour of the licensed business to 6 a.m. to 3 a.m.
I vote to approve this application.
I agree.
I do too.
Items 6, 7, and 8, BOSB Wine Bar LLC, doing business as Vino Volo, located at Logan Airport Terminal B in East Boston. ABC Wine Bar, doing business as Vino Volo, located at Logan Airport Terminal A in East Boston. And Taste Inc., doing business as Vino Volo, located at Logan Airport Terminal E in East Boston. It's petition to change the manager of the licensed business to Gerald Irving Winston.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item number 9, RBSBW Inc., doing business as Roach Brothers Supermarkets, located at 8 Summer Street, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Susan A. LaRosa.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 10, Telegraph Hill Tavern LLC, doing business as Telegraph Hill Kitchen and Bar, located at 289 Dorchester Street in South Boston, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business to Paul Ciccarello.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 11, Omni Boston Seaport Entertainment LLC, doing business as Omni Boston Hotel at the Seaport, located at 450 Summer Street, has petitioned to pledge the license to U.S. Bank National Association.
I vote to approve.
I agree as well.
Item 12, GSTH Investment Group LLC, doing business as Bijou and Rock and Rye, located at 51 Stewart Street, Has petition to amend the condition limiting the first floor restaurant closing hour of the licensed premise to first floor restaurant to have all patrons off the premises by 2 a.m.
I'd like to ask the commissioners to consider some conditions for this license.
Midtown, the conditions suggested by Midtown Park Plaza.
Yes.
Yeah.
In addition to those conditions, I would like to request a dispersal plan from the restaurant. Once we receive that dispersal plan, my vote would be to approve it with the conditions from the Midtown Park Plaza Association.
Just want to clarify, I believe those conditions from the Midtown Park Plaza Neighborhood Association were no alcohol sales after their 1 a.m. closing. Is that correct?
So 1 a.m. last call, 2 a.m. Was it 1 a.m. last call? Last seating at 1, I think what I was going to propose was last seating at 1:15, last call at 1:30, all patrons off by 2 a.m.
Last call at 1:30? I thought it was a little earlier.
Let's see.
I had last call at 1.
Yeah. I
Okay,
had-
all right, last call 1 a.m.
Yeah.
All patrons off by 2?
Yes, seated by
Okay.
1:15, yeah.
Yes. Last seating at 1:15, sorry. I have multiple notes on this one.
So just for the record, the vote is to grant this with the conditions as follows. Last call on the premises of the restaurant on the first floor at 1 a.m. Last seating at the restaurant at 1:15 a.m. All patrons off the premise by 2 a.m.
Yes.
Yes, and submission of a dispersal plan to be approved by the board.
Thank you. Just making sure I have that all correct. Item 13, GRNARK of MA LLC, doing business as Ramsey's Kitchen located at 776 Boylston Street, has a petition to amend the description of the licensed business to a full-service restaurant of approximately 7,196 square feet, located within the street level of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, main dining room, 2 private dining rooms, kitchen and bar, main entrance exit located on Boylston Street with additional entrance exit from the hotel lobby, sidewalk cafe located on Boylston Street at the main entrance of the restaurant with seating for 26. Cafe open from April 1st to October 31st and hours are the same as the restaurant. Closed no later than 10 p.m. Cafe is on public property, will comply with Public Improvement Commission conditions set forth in and approved in assignment and assumption agreement.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 14, Robert B. Aiello, doing business as DeLuca's Back Bay Market, located at 239 Newbury Street, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Sisters Market, Inc., doing business as DeLuca's Market, the same location, Victoria Aiello, manager, closing hour 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 15, DeLuca's Market, Inc., doing business as DeLuca's Market, located at 7 to 11 Charles Street, has petitioned to transfer the license from the above to Sisters Market, Inc., doing business as DeLuca's Market at the same location, Caroline Aiello, manager, closing hour 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 16, Tianon LLC, doing business as Anhan Restaurant, located at 291 Adams Street, has petitioned to transfer the license and the location to Tora Group, Inc., doing business as Tora Kaizen Don Japanese Restaurant, located at 20B Tyler Street. Closing hours, Sunday to Thursday, 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 1 a.m., Patrick Chong, manager.
This is a private, an application for a transfer from one licensee to another within Chinatown for beer and wine license. It's already an existing restaurant and they were able to describe to my satisfaction the public need for a beer and wine license to complement their food offerings. There was no opposition, there was support. So my vote would be to approve this application.
I agree.
I agree.
Item 17, Henry's Delicatessen LLC, doing business as The Gallows, located at 1395 to 1397 Washington Street in Roxbury, has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to Putt Shack Boston Seaport LLC, doing business as Putt Shack, located at 58 Pier 4 Boulevard. Closing hour 2 a.m. Laura Lynn Gallagher, manager.
This is an application for a concept we haven't yet to receive in Boston. There was a lot of support. I think they had an adequate safety and operations plan as described at the hearing. There was a lot of public support for this. I would vote to approve this application.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 18, Teatro Inc., doing business as Teatro, located at 177 Tremont Street, has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to 5 Iron Golf Boston LLC, doing business as 5 Iron Golf, located at 1 Washington Mall. Seamus O'Sullivan, manager, closing hour 2 a.m.
I'm familiar with the location of this potential license transfer. I think this neighborhood could support an additional all alcohol license. And I think the concept that they will be bringing to this area of Boston is unique. And I think all of those things together with the support satisfy public need. My vote would be to approve this.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 19 has been continued at the request of the applicant and will be heard at our April 27th transactional hearing. Item 20, Bay Suites LLC, doing business as Bay Suites Market, located at 120 Spring Street in West Roxbury, has applied for a retail package store wines and malt beverages license to be exercised on the above. Victor Leon, manager, 6 p.m. closing time.
I vote to approve. I think they satisfied public need.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Items 21, 22, 23, and 24, Cisco Brewers, Distillers, Vintners, Seaport Inc., doing business as Cisco Seaport, located at 85 Northern Ave, has applied for a farmer winery pouring license, a farmer brewery pouring license, a farmer distillery pouring license, and a 19H Wines Malts Distillery pouring license to be exercised on the above. Hours of operation: Mondays, holidays, and private events, 4 to 10 p.m., Tuesdays through Thursdays, 4 to 10 p.m., Fridays 3 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 12 to 11 p.m., Sundays 12 to 10 p.m. Manager Nicholas Mitchell.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 25, Mita East Boston LLC, doing business as Mita, located at 65 Lewis Street in East Boston, has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above. 1 a.m. closing hour, 11 p.m. outdoor closing hour. Manager Seth Gerber.
Thanks, Danny. This part of East Boston has undergone a complete revitalization in this particular neighborhood. I think there's 500 new resident units here, and in the larger area, I think the testimony was that there was about 1,000 new units. Those things alone, I think, would support the addition of an all alcohol license in this area. This is Italian classical dishes. An operator who has 2 other successful restaurants in Massachusetts. They're offering something that the neighborhood doesn't currently have. And these regional small plates will be complemented by regional wines and alcohol offerings. I think the applicant satisfactorily, proved public need, and my vote would be to support a license pending the availability of one for this neighborhood for which they qualify.
I agree.
I agree.
Great. Granted, pending the availability of a license for which they qualify. Yes,
Thanks, Danny.
absolutely. Item 26, Bella Haven Restaurant Group, doing business as The Haven at the Brewery, located at 284 Amory Street in Jamaica Plain, has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above. Manager Jason Waddleton. Closing time 1 a.m. indoors, 11 p.m. outdoors.
This application has already been approved. We've already found public need. I'd like to add my voice to it so that it's unanimous for public need. I think I had some questions the last time they were before us. So my vote would be to approve this pending the availability for a license for which they qualify.
And I reiterate my support.
I agree.
Thank you. Moving on to non-hearing transactions. The following are applying for a new common victular license at a previously licensed location. Item 1, Bennett's Store of Boston, Peterborough LLC, doing business as Bennett's Sandwich Shop located at 1348 Boylston Street. Brendan McCord, manager of record, hours of operation Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 2, the Amantino's Restaurant Group, Inc., doing business as Cappy's Pizza located at 304 Center Street in Jamaica Plain. Adanil De Silva, manager of record, hours of operation Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to midnight, Sunday, 8 a.m. to midnight.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 3, Bread O' Life Bakery, Inc., within the Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Hours of operation Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sergio Goncalves, manager of record.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Item 4, Boston Scoop Shops, Inc., doing business as Boston Scoops, located at 120 Quincy Market. Fulton Barry, manager of record, hours of operation 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Vallejo Restaurant LLC, doing business as Rey del Pollo Restaurant, located at 111 Blue Hill Avenue in Roxbury. Mary Sanchez, manager of record, hours of operation 8 a.m. to 11 p.m.
I vote to approve.
Agree as well.
Item number 6, Bagel Guild LLC, doing business as Bagel Guild, located at 100 Hanover Street. This is a stall within the Boston Public Market. Zachary Reckling, manager of record, hours of operation Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Following have applied to make changes to their existing common victular licenses. Item number 1, GF Enterprise LLC, doing business as Taco Bell, located at 76 Summer Street, has petitioned to change the manager to Jose Lopez.
Vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Items 2 and 3, Cava Meze Grill LLC, doing business as Cava Fenway, located at 1346 Boylston Street, and Cava Meze Grill LLC, doing business as Cava Back Bay, located at 669 Boylston Street, has been to change the manager to Patrick Cartier.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
And item number 4, Whole Foods Market Group, Inc., doing business as Whole Foods Market, located at 348 Harrison Avenue, has amended their common victular license to include an additional takeout operator within the premises, PLNT Burger, within a defined area per their license agreement and letter of intent.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Following have applied for a one-day amendment to their existing license. Item 1, Who's on First, Inc., doing business as the Bullpen Kitchen and Tap, located at 19 to 23 Jersey Street, has applied for a series of one-day amendments to their existing license to include a portion of their privately owned alley to the rear of the establishment for the 2022 Red Sox games and Fenway events between the hours of 4 hours before each event through 2 hours after.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
Item 2, Esmeralyn Baez, doing business as Greek Pizza, located at 1132 Blue Hill Avenue in Dorchester, has applied for a one-day amendment to their existing license to include extension of their closing hours on July 4th, 2022 for Uber Eats and Grubhub deliveries only between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m.
I vote to approve.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Board has before them a series of applications for one-day alcoholic beverages licenses, which have been administratively reviewed by staff and approved by the board. And we have two items for vote on today's old and new business. Item number 1, the board had deferred the following to allow for completion of the community process, which has since occurred. Jumbo Oriental LLC, doing business as Jumbo Seafood, located at 5 through 9 Hudson Street, has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above. Manager Kenneth Young, closing time had been applied for as 3 a.m. The applicant has since agreed to a 2 a.m. closing time on their license.
Thanks, Danny. This was before us a few weeks ago. The board asked the applicant to go back and work with the abutters and the neighbors on some outstanding issues. They have worked, they've had several meetings with various groups. They haven't worked out all of the issues, but I feel confident that they will continue to have open communication and work on those issues. We have received a letter of support from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, and we have received a letter of support from Chairman Michaelwitz, who represents this, this location is also in his district. There was previously a liquor license at this location. All of those things together, I would vote to approve this application pending the availability of a license for which they qualify.
I agree. Thank you.
I agree as well.
Thank you. And item number 2, the board had deferred the following to allow for completion of the community process, which has since occurred. V&V Productions LLC, doing business as VV, located at 763 Center Street in Jamaica Plain, had petitioned to amend the description of their licensed business to dining area in one room on the first floor, kitchen and storage in rear, additional seating for 46 on the seasonal outdoor patio of approximately 1,100 square feet on private property, access via Elliott Street, closing hour 10 p.m. This was to add the addition of their seasonal patio. We were waiting for their community meeting with the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council, which occurred on Tuesday, April 5th, and we heard from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services that they received unanimous support.
I vote to approve.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
Thank you. Those are all of the items before the board this week. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.